What's up guys, Viper FPV here, and today we have our Runcam 5 HD review. What we're going to do is we're going to be going to the bench, kind of doing an overview of all the little features that this little camera has. Also going ahead and going out to the field. I have a GoPro Session 5 that I have a double GoPro mount in, and we're going to be kind of doing a comparison between both the Runcam 5 HD and the GoPro Session 5. Keep in mind, this one is about $100 for this little camera here for the Runcam 5, and the GoPro Session is a roughly used. You can probably get one from $100 to $140, and new $170, but finding one new might be real difficult since they did discontinue the GoPro Session 5. So let's go ahead and get to the review. All right, so this is the breakdown of exactly the features of the Runcam 5 HD, and right off the bat, I already took it out of the box. In the box, what you actually get is a couple of battery straps, along with a USB cable, and really don't get much. So let's go ahead and open this up and just kind of show you. I know the USB cable is not in here because I took it out, but you get some battery straps that say Runcam on them, and then there's another one over here as well. And then you also get a little manual here. It just kind of tells you some features of how to use it, some in different languages, as you see. So coming over here to the actual Runcam here, let's go ahead and zoom in real quick so we can get a real up close and personal look at the camera. All right, so we're up close and personal with the Runcam 5 HD, and yeah, it's a nice little tiny camera here. Main features, what we have is we have a little micro USB port to charge it and also connect it to your computer to transfer files. We have one little button right here to pretty much do all the controls of the Runcam itself. We also do have this little sliding door for your micro SD card, and it does actually do pretty well, and you can kind of tell I've already kind of crashed this thing up a little bit and scratched it up, but it did hold up pretty well to some decent hard crashes, so I don't really see this falling apart anytime soon. You do notice that the front does not look like a Session at all. Doesn't have any of the screws where you can replace this glass, but what I do know here is that this will actually pull off if you get like a little, say if you did crack this, you can kind of bend it up and pull up this glass. Now to find a replacement glass, that's up to, I'm not sure if Runcam sells replacement glass or not, because usually what happens is little black sections here on the side, it's just like glue, like a double-sided tape, and then it'll stick the glass down. But I'm not sure if Runcam is selling these replacement lenses at all, but you could also use it without it, but then you run the risk of destroying the lens in there. I know I've ran my Session one time without, because I did crack my glass in the front, and I ran it without it, and it was fine. I just didn't crash it again, because if it did, it probably really would have destroyed the camera. But yeah, so that's an option. But so how do you use this thing? Pretty much what you do is just kind of hold it for like a 1 or 2 seconds. It'll turn on. You can set the camera to record automatically as soon as you turn it on. So right now it's starting to record because it'll start flashing the green light. To stop recording, you just hit it once. And it does not have Wi-Fi. How you control everything, since it doesn't have a little LED screen to see what settings you actually have an app that you'll go ahead and use. It's pretty much the Runcam app. Looks just like this. And what you go ahead and do is you'll just click on here. Where'd I go? Oh, here we go. Runcam. Yes. QR configuration. So to use a QR code, what you're going to go ahead and do is put your settings in here that you want, and then I'll show you here in a second. So say I wanted to have it at 4K, 30 frames per second, with all this stuff on here, power on, auto recording, and all that stuff. It's really easy, real simple app to use. What you do is you just tap the button on here twice, and it should beep, and it should go just like that with the blue light. And then what you're going to do is hit apply. So I have this little QR code, then you shine the lens at it, and sometimes it's a little finicky. No, it didn't go yet. I thought I heard a beep. It's gonna kind of get it where it needs to go. Sometimes I like the far away. There it goes. So that was a little too close. So then I went ahead and applied the settings. And then I started recording because it knew that I wanted to record right away after it was done. But just hit the button once, and then it stops recording. And then for pretty much the features that it does, like all the recording modes, it does do 4K 30 frames per second, and it does do 2.7 at 50 frames per second, 1440p at 60 frames per second, 1080p at 120 frames per second, and 1080p at 60 frames per second. And you do also have high, medium, low bit rates that you can use. There's also XV modes on here, along with a distortion correction, which the distortion correction I feel is more of like the GoPro Super View. So if you want to enable that along with XV mode makes it to where it has a little wider field of view as well with the Super View, with the distortion correction. So you can go ahead and enable both of those, and then you have a similar experience to a GoPro, but not exact. But we'll get to all the caveats and everything at the end. So let's go ahead and go into some comparison footage of both these. Now, I do have a quad where I printed a double GoPro mount, so the Session and the GoPro are actually together on the same field of view as the drone. So the other one's literally right next to it, and you're shooting up, looking at the landscape. So let's go ahead and get to it, and we'll kind of show you guys what the differences are. All right, so we have the Runcam 2.7K 50 frames per second on the left, and then we also have the GoPro 2.7K Super View on the right. And you can kind of tell already that the GoPro definitely does have a wider field of view. You can see the landscape as I'm flying around. It just has a really wider and taller field of view. It just looks nicer. But that is pretty much a proprietary GoPro thing that Runcam technically can't really copy. So Runcam is going to try to do as best as they can to try to mimic that. That's why they have different versions, like a distortion correction and also a XV version of the different resolutions that they do have. But regarding resolution, it actually does look really nice. It has a little bit of a washout when you go kind of towards the sky. You can tell in the GoPro footage it has a little more contrast. And as well, the GoPro has all default settings. The only thing it does have on it is Pro Tune, so where it has the color, pretty much where it outputs like a really nice color, instead of having it really flat too. And I figured a lot of people probably use the GoPro flat version, not the flat version, but the color version, because a lot of people don't edit their videos like a professional does. But if you are a professional, then you probably shoot this in flat. And you can also do and change those settings as well in the Runcam app on the Runcam. Alright, and now let's also show you the audio. First one is from the GoPro, and then the second one is going to be from the Runcam. The Runcam audio actually does not sound that great. So if you're using this for video editing or like vlogging, I would not suggest it. Alright, and now we have the Runcam 1080p XV 60 frames per second on the left, and then we also have the GoPro 1080p Super View 60 frames per second on the right. You can tell they're almost the same field of view wise. I think that the Runcam actually has a little bit taller of a field of view, but maybe that's just how I'm looking at it. I was going through the footage and really couldn't really tell a difference. So this is actually really good on Runcam's part, because if you're like to fly at 1080p at 60 frames per second, which a lot of people do, because it's really hard to edit 4K footage or even 2.7K footage, especially if you're using like your phone or something like that, you're probably going to be using 1080p. And 1080p does look pretty good. Same kind of complaints though on the Runcam. It looks a little bit washed out, which you probably can correct with some corrections with the settings, but this is all default. Along with the GoPro, you can see it has a little more contrast, especially in the shadows of the trees. You really can see a lot more detail, I think. But you gotta think too that the GoPro originally was like a $300 or $250 camera, and the Runcam is a $100 camera, so it's about a third of the original price of a GoPro. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one, and we can do that comparison as well. Alright, and finally we have the Runcam 4K 30 frames per second with XV enabled and GoPro 4K wide 30 frames per second. You can really kind of tell on these that the contrast and the resolution is really nice actually on these. I think the 4K footage actually looks a little better than the GoPro, but that can be just me. But I just wanted to kind of give a brief showing of the 4K footage. So let's go ahead and give you my conclusion. So that should do it for the Runcam 5 HD review. Now, both cameras, they are actually really nice to use. Like we have to keep in mind that the GoPro Session 5 is actually discontinued. I keep saying that, but it has been. So as the year goes on and as we get into 2020, which probably Runcam will probably come out with a new camera by then, wouldn't you think? But as we get pretty much further into the year, it's going to be harder and harder to find these GoPro Session 5s. They've been discontinued probably for about a year now. So a lot of luck you get is probably be used. And that's kind of the scenario we have here. So we have the Runcam 5 HD, we have the GoPro Session, which you technically discontinued, and then we also have the Foxier Box 2, which also is a competitor, which the Foxier Box 2, I didn't choose to review that because it doesn't fit any of my GoPro mounts. So I would have to purchase all new GoPro mounts or go ahead and print a whole bunch of them just to go ahead and do a review on it, and I just didn't feel like doing it. So that's why I really like the Runcam, because it uses all your existing GoPro mounts. You don't have to, if you don't have a 3D printer, that's extra cost to you, which can be $10 to $20 a mount depending on what kind of quad you have it on and what kind of mount you want. So that is actually a savings if you can consider it. Now the GoPro Session does have, it is waterproof, so if you do crash in the water, you don't have to really worry about it getting destroyed. And also it's a little more, I think, impact protected, especially since the front has these screws where you can remove the glass. The Runcam, you can remove that glass in the front, but it's up to Runcam to be able to supply that glass, because you're not going to be able to find it anywhere else except for Runcam. But it actually comes off. I think it's just some glue goes on there and then sticks back on there. So that's why, another reason why it's not technically waterproof. Now, all the settings and all the features of the Runcam, I actually really enjoyed. That app actually works flawlessly. It is getting a little used to figuring out where you want to have your phone according to the Runcam, because you have to either put it far away or close. Sometimes if you're in the sun, it has a little bit of glare on your phone and it can't read it. But I've never had a problem where it couldn't read it. At least eventually it took me a minute or two to get it to read, and it did do it. So the Runcam is actually $100, and I will leave a video link down below to that product. If you want to help support my channel and you found this video helpful for purchasing it or not purchasing it, let me know down below. And if you do want to purchase it, help me out and use that link below, because it'll help me out. It is an affiliate link. Even if you don't want to purchase a Runcam, but you wanted to purchase something from Banggood, go ahead and use that affiliate link, and I will get credit for it. So let's go ahead and I'll see you guys in a future video. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.